How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. Welcome back. After a little pause, about a week and a half off. I don't know if you heard the game went down for 2 days, so I took a little break. But welcome back to Best in Class. This is going to be a series where we go through every non-Lord, that is important, non-Lord legendary hero in the game, class by class, and rank them from worst to first. And every time I am joined by a great content creator, collaborator, and I'm very lucky today to have a great friend of mine, Mr. R-Type. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm good.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you are here. It's the first time we've ever had you on a video. You've been on stream. You helped me a ton behind the scenes. You're one of my head moderators, so it's really cool. You have an up-and-coming YouTube channel, and I think we've cooked up a little something special to send people over here, right?
Yep.
So
I'll
yeah,
let
guys.
you, talk about that.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Absolutely. So you guys can see here, I mean, pretty healthy for a very new channel, 646 subs. You're one of the most prolific streamers in the game, streaming nearly daily and then sometimes like multiple times a day. If you want to participate, we're going to do a big giveaway with R-Type. Go on this video, comment your favorite healer or the most interesting healer or anything about a healer. We don't really care. We won't discriminate. And make sure you are subscribed to R-Type. So head over to the channel. We'll have the link in the description and the top pinned comment. Go over there, sub, and if you are the lucky winner, he's going to pick one of his subs randomly 48 hours from the release of this video. You will win 5,000 W gold. How much USD is that of W gold, R-Type?
I think that's about 50 bucks.
It's about 50 bucks. I don't get 50 bucks of free W gold every day. Do you get that?
No, not at all.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, guys. All right, enough of the promotion. Shall we begin with our healers?
Yeah.
So I want to pitch you an idea, okay? Tell me if you'll go for this. I think we should start at number 1. The whole premise of this series is we do all the non-Lord legendaries from a specific class. So in order, we did fighters, then we did marksmen, then we did defenders. Today is healers. The number 1 healer is so definitive. I think we should just start there, and then we can go to 11 and work our way up to 2. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works. That works.
Okay, so explain to me why it's Ezreal.
That or Gwendolyn.
Yeah, okay. Who do you have? Who do you have at number 1?
Of course, Elowen.
Yeah.
Bar none, Elowen.
I mean, in my opinion,
I already
not
know
everyone,
you have Elowen.
yeah, not everyone agrees with me. I think she's just full stop the best hero in the game, including Kratos, including Ingrid. I think she's that important. You want to tell us a little about her, R-Type?
I mean, she's just the best healer. Rage regen for everybody. Cleanses. The wood elf where she could place it pretty much anywhere, you know, and you use her everywhere. You know, there's not a place you couldn't use her.
I couldn't agree more. I actually don't think we need to spend that much time on her. Most people should be familiar with her. If somehow you're not, you can let me know in the comments. I'll make an Elowen guide if that's something people need. But she's like the most famous hero in the game for a reason. She won Hero of the Year in the Christmas vote by like I think she won by like hundreds of thousands of votes. If you saw that,
yeah, it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. She's got a unique range. You can see here. It's actually probably my least favorite healer range in the game, but she makes up for that with one of the very best during her ultimate, which is crazy. This like off-center vortex Gwendolyn range. It's pretty insane. As you said, this wood elf, not only can you just place it anywhere, the healing multiplier on this is insane. 100 base healing when she's got crazy base healing every half a second for 20 seconds. So you get 20 instances of that crazy healing. The best rage regen in the game. I guess we can tell new players that don't know this, or I think some people, even old players, might not know this. This is, if she's deployed, it's map wide. Anyone else that's deployed, they don't need to be in her range, her ult range, nothing, right? It's just, it's so definitively the best, don't you think?
Yeah, and she's just insane, you know. And the A3, the cleanses from the A3 is insane.
You have her A3, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I've got her. I've never even pulled Elowen. I got her. I was so lucky. People should go watch that video because I was praying for like a week. I talked about it nonstop. I was when they were going to release that free legendary hero ticket from clearing to 18s. I'd already beaten it, but then like, you know, retroactively you get the reward. And I was like, I really just hope it's Elowen, and it was her. So that's the only way I ever got her. And then I bought her Soulstone once from the Awakening shop. So I have her A1. But yeah, this A3, if you build her even with like 400 attack speed, it's crazy. Is there anything else we need to say? I mean, She's just for healing. She's like a top 3 healer in the game. She's the best rage unit in the game. She's the only person with a summoner healer, which basically gives her like infinite range for most maps. And she's the best cleanser in the game, right? I guess besides the song.
You use her everywhere. Every gear raid, every gear dungeon, APOC.
Oh, here's
guild boss. You can, but I don't really use
Well, actually, now that there's such a fighter meta, you can use her again in Guild Boss 1 too, which is So she's just kind of back at. She's just. I'm not even gonna pull up my website. She's my highest ranked hero in the whole game for like every piece of content. I'll say one thing that people might not know. So over here it says grants attack-based healing to 3 allies in range. I'm saying some people might not know. It took me like 6 months into the game or something before I learned this. So it's 3 allies in range, so it feels like an AoE. But actually, if it's like 3 or less in this game, like small multi-target, they just code it as single target. So she gets like single target multipliers on this. And then moreover, if you want to go, let me pop into my roster really fast. You can put an Elysian Epitaph, which is the strongest healer, single target healer artifact in the game. And it actually works on her. So even though it says single target heals only, this guy over here, you can throw this on her and all 3 of those heals during her basic attacks, which is how she does her main healing. They all will scale with this, which is just stupid. So there's a fun relevant fact. Should we get into the real meat of the video? I mean, I felt like we had to get that out of the way. She's the best. So
yeah.
Who do you got? Who's the worst? Let's go down to the worst.
Might be controversial, but Gwendolyn.
I don't think it's that controversial. I don't have her as the worst, but I do have her very low on my list, as you'll see. I have her at number 10. Want to tell us why you think Gwendolyn's the lowest?
I mean, she just gives shields, you know? It's a small heal once it breaks, but like she can't, when it gets into it, she can't keep anybody alive, really, you know? She's great for like one spot of like Gear Dungeon, right? Gear Dungeon 1.
Yeah.
Is it 1 or 2?
Yeah, Gear Dungeon 1 on the top.
Gear Dungeon 1, but then it's like, I'll just bring Vortex. And then I can control the shields perfectly every single time.
I do agree with that. Something that really bothers me. I think I like Gwendolyn much more than the average person. I'll show you guys her range. She gets that vortex range once you promote her. But something that really bothers me is she grants a shield to 1 ally in range, which can absorb damage equal to 6%. So it's the biggest possible shield you can get in the game. But like if you're the traditional comp for Gear Dungeon 1 where she's the best, it can the big shield can land on Dolores or something, or Constance instead of Valkyra or whoever you want to use. That's always pissed me off. Like I wish it would be like goes to the northerner with the highest attack or something like that as like the first condition. Because without that, she can be really clunky to use. I agree with you. Anything else you don't like about her? I
mean, that's pretty much it. You know, just no heals. You know, eventually your person's gonna die.
Let me say why I have her at 10 and not at 11. Maybe that's something we can do. She's the best shielder in the game. It can be inconsistent, right? But if you build her fast enough, the shields are like constant. So unless you're getting really shellacked, they can replace healing. She has a little bit extra healing after shields pop off, stuff like that. And I just anticipate, I want to get ahead of the curve here. The content's going to get harder and harder. You could definitely see content where you just need the biggest possible shields and she becomes a queen. So I just feel really bad retroactively having her last when the hero I think I have last. People are going to hate me for it, but I think she deserves to be there. Whereas Gwendolyn, at least she's the best at something in this game. That's like kind of how I think about it.
Sure.
You're not buying any of that.
No.
If
not until I see a spot where she could actually really be used.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
It's true, and it's not she just needs to give more consistent healing. This A3, allies around the main target also get a full shield. This is crazy, but the fact that they hide this at A3, who's pulling so hard on a limited banner like that? If they made this A1, because this is such a good awakening, it'd be pretty special. But yeah, I think she's unique enough that I just really like her. You could argue that the hero I have at number 11 is really unique, and I really think this is going to upset some people, but I do not like Sadie. I don't think Sadie's aged well at all in this game. Why are you laughing at me?
Nothing. I had her up there originally, and then I kind of moved her down.
Did you know I was going to say her?
Yeah. I figured you were going to say Sadie.
You know I hate her. She just stinks. Like she gives these reductions, but like you don't need them, and you're going to get reductions in other ways. I do like it. She has this crazy delay damage effect, but it's kind of useless. Like, you can use it for cute stuff in Guild Boss 2. I'm sure there's already someone like attacking their keyboard telling me they use her for 120 Guild Boss 2, APOC 2, or whatever. Of course you can do that, but you can do that with a lot of heroes. You could do that with Gwendolyn if you wanted some shields, if you built her fast enough. What it really comes down to is there's nothing you need this constant damage mitigation for except for Gear Raid 2, and this is the inferior strat. The Volca Polka, Volca cycling, that is the meta. That's the easiest way to do it as a lower gear requirement. Everything's better, and it does not require skilling up the worst legendary healer in the game, in my opinion. I think she's a terrible healer. You really need Awakenings to make her work. You need that A1 to get the simultaneous buffs, and quite frankly, you kind of need the A5 for her to be like as good a healer as other healers, and you also need her exclusive. So she has all these conditions. I don't think you should invest in her to begin with. So I just think there's just a lot of boxes to check on Sadie just to make her usable. Whereas other healers that people don't like Ezrein, straight out of the box, unskilled, is twice the healer. So yes, healers in this game also can be supports, but her job of healing, she's terrible at. And then she doesn't have a support skill like an inspiration or, you know, a very significant damage reduction or this, that, and the other that I think puts her, to, in my opinion, on the level. If she had a huge range, this talent would be crazy, but she has that Dolores range. I don't like Sadie. I can kind of leave it at that. I'm really not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Can you want to tell us where you have her on the list?
10.
You're out here laughing, reacting like you were gonna have her at 7 or something.
No.
So you want to? Any final thoughts? Or you just like, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty much the only place that I've ever used her is Gear Raid 2. I use her in Immortal Codex too, but I don't really need to. I just do. But Gear Raid 2 is the only place I use her, and it's only because I'm using the Praetus strat, just because I want to get it done as fast as possible.
Yeah,
but when I'm first clearing, I'm not using that strat, kind of a thing. The crazy Praetus strat. People are always saying like, why don't you just use Praetus in these takeovers? It's actually, unless you have great gear, it is not a good strat for a first clear. Once you have Power Dominance, it's incredible. And I will say, once we could do it on your account. Once you have Power Dominance and you have an account as good as yours R-type, you don't even need Sadie because you can just one-shot the boss. So you don't even need Sadie to begin with. So you even outgrow her for you just outgrow her for everything, in my opinion. Healer Codex, she's good at the beginning, but once you have enough options, you outgrow her. Gear Raid 2, even for Praetus cheese, you outgrow her, this, that, and the other. She could be good one day if there's more content like Gear Raid 2, where you can't do Volca stuff maybe, but she sucks. Yeah.
Who do you got at number 9? She does.
Dasami.
Whoa.
Surprisingly.
This is going to be by a mile our biggest divergence. I'm a huge Dasami fan. Tell me about it.
I mean, he is the greatest cleanser in the game. He is. But that's all he could do. His heals are terrible. Like, you have to bring another healer with him, wherever you bring him.
I hear you.
And that's the only reason why.
My argument would be he's kind of goated in PvP, like specifically Arena, because you don't need much healing. He does enough, and his inspiration, I think, is very underrated. And the fact that he's in these really meta factions, especially Chaotic, I think he's really, really usable. He's actually, he's so hot. There's an argument, it depends what content's coming, but part of me feels like I even want him more than Carnelian. Carnelian I have incredibly high on this list, don't worry. But to me, he's so unique. And they seem like they just keep throwing debuffs at us for the harder content, and he's the best cleanser by a mile. Combined with the fact that this inspiration just grows and grows and grows because he has this crazy thing. It's only 20%, but he is I shouldn't say super, but high attack. It gets super high though with this passive. After entering the field, he increases attack by 5% every 25 seconds, and it's like permanently 3 stacks. And you can actually get this to 10%, so it's like 30% post deployment. I'm a really big fan, but I do think he's more geared towards like end late game content. You're probably going to want to be running Chaotic stuff or stuff where you need consistent cleansing. I just think this guy has been aging like a fine wine, and I think it will only snowball. I think he's a really cool hero.
He's great if you don't have like Elwyn or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But like I only use him in APOC 1, and I used him in the campaigns. For that one stage with all the Winter Spite.
In chapter 10.
Yeah, that's the only places I've ever used them.
I think probably the true rating of Dasami is higher than you have him and lower than I have him. but I think it's kind of how you view it. And I guess maybe to a fault, I'm trying to keep a forward-looking view. I just think this is a great kit. I think it's really powerful. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in here. So I'm very high on him. But yeah, if you're just trying to progress through the game, he's not someone you're going to need for a while. So that is a good point. Should we go to my number 9 here?
Yep.
All right, at my number 9, I've got Ezreal. I will tell you, to me, Sadie, I think you're going to agree, there's a big tier line here, right, between 10 and 9. Like, I like Ezreal. Starting with Ezreal, I kind of like all of these heroes. I think Gwendolyn and Sadie are definitely the worst. Basically, with Ezreal, I feel like you just outgrow the crap out of him. He can heal out of range. Okay, here it is, Redemption in Agony. He can cast Verdant Rejuvenation or Enlightened Breath, 2 of his heals, on allies beyond his attack range with reduced healing effects, 60%. That reduction goes to 40%, so he's doing 60% strength as opposed to 40% strength. Hope that makes sense. It is really cool. His healing multipliers are really good. He has very high base attack at over 500, nearly 5.5k, over 500, over 5,000, nearly 5.5k. And yeah, he's nice for certain things. I use him because I don't have Carnelian. I use him on one of my GVG teams as one of my healers. He's cool for stuff like that. He basically is a strong healer who can occasionally heal out of range, but you can't control it. And then he's got a cool talent here where the damage he takes can't exceed 60% of his max HP. And he can, during the ultimate, when he's healing people, he can lend people that talent effect. With Awakenings, if you can get him up to A5, it can last for 7 seconds that they can get that effect, which is really, really cool that he like shares the talent. He's got pretty low cost on the ult, so he ults a lot. 500 skill costs, and he's an esotericist, so if you run him, I definitely like this hero, but to me, and I'm curious where you have him on your list, R-Type, I don't think he has enough extra going on to put him any higher, to justify our higher ranking.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the biggest single target heals in the game out of everybody, and the only place that I use him is GVG. That's it. Same as you. And
I do like him a lot
there.
there.
Guy that's like, to heal like Ajax, that's like off of the grid of like everybody else kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You know, build Ajax, a whole bunch of health, and then he just needs that one heal just to make it through the rock towers kind of a thing.
The talent lending is really cool. I'll tell you, me and R-Type, we're in the same guild. I'll tell the viewers, I'm pissed off because I've had Ezreal in A4 for like a year, and this A5 is kind of huge. Getting that extra, like, goes from 4 seconds to 7 seconds, right? 3 extra seconds, increases it by 75%. So that drives me nuts. But he's a fun GVG option, basically, if you don't have Lily and Carnelian. I guess everyone has Lily, but if you don't have Carnelian, like me. Where do you have him on your list?
He's actually number 7 on mine.
Number 7. Okay, well then, awesome. Let's talk about your number 8.
My number 8 is Eunomia.
Okay, I think we are, I'm pretty sure this is a match. Our first match, can it be? Yes, it can. So why does Eunomia stink?
I mean, she's just not very good. She has these like bounce heals kind of a thing, but they're just not that strong. She does have a debuff, 3 allies every 40 seconds, but it's just not fast enough to do anything kind of thing.
Yeah, she got like the spell debuffs. Yeah, but this is completely random and out of your control. It sucks.
Yeah. She's just not great, She's an okay healer, but she's not great.
Yeah, I think her heals are pretty big, but like we said, especially at this point in the list, we're getting away from the bottom of the list now, getting more towards the middle. We really want someone that's bringing a little bit more than what I think Eunomia is bringing. So the only extra support she kind of brings, she's got this great attack speed increase that can become permanent, which is really nice. You can give it to everyone in range, but it's not like she has, Gwendolyn, Hollow, Vortex, crazy range. It's like the normal Nasandai range or whatever. You can't expand it. It's not like she's a piercer like Nasandai. The cleansing, to me, this is like a non-starter, right? It's just too inconsistent to care. If you look at her A3, the bounce heals have a 10% chance to dispel buffs. That's cool, but it's 10%.
It's like nothing. It's like you might as well not have it there.
You get the extra bounces if you build her really fast, and she also gets herself pretty dang fast from this permanent effect that comes. It's cool. Like, she's a good healer, but without anything too extra special, like attack speed, when it could have been rage regen, on this ancient exclusive hero, it's kind of hard to stomach, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't have anything more to say about her. I just think
there's nothing really to say about her.
Let's be honest. You'll reach a point in the game. The only reason you'll use her is because you want another Arbiter unit to power up your Elysia, probably your Praetus. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a warm body.
And even at that, I wouldn't even use her.
Yeah. Well, your gun's crazy. Okay, let's go to my number 7 now. Drum roll, please. I've got Tallulah here. I'm assuming you've got Tallulah here or here. You can't have her much higher than that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty close to that.
You want to just tell me now?
Tallulah is 5.
5, okay.
Actually. Yeah.
So I think we both are agreeing because I think some people are going to expect Tallulah to be low. I think she's a very good hero. To me, this was the next break. I like to point those out in these best-in-class collabs. To me, there's a clear bottom 2, then these were clearly the next 2, and now we're in the new, slightly better grouping. I think you feel the same if you've got her at number 5. Tallulah, let's start with what's bad about Tallulah. Her healing's not that good. That's where they could have really had her be an awesome hero if her healing was better. But all the support stuff's crazy. And I think people underrate how well you can actually use her as a support if you time her ultimate well. When you ult with her, she sends the butterflies out, and then you'll see it here once they go. If we look at this animation above my head, every tile touching an ally that has a butterfly on it gets all the crazy effects she gives. So she's giving debuff dispels constantly, so she'll cleanse everything off. She's giving reductions, and she's giving rage regen. This rage regen goes up to 1% per second. I actually just pulled A3 Tallulah. People will see that in the video. At A3, it's 2% per second, which is the highest rage regen in the entire game. Not saying she's better than Elowen, but while it's on, it will trump Elowen. It's the fastest, right? Elowen does 3% every 3 seconds, so it comes out to 1% per second. It's literally double. So if you use her well, and especially if we start getting content where you can definitely be like, Tallulah's just my support with a little juicy bonus extra healing, and I got another healer, she can really cook. Like, I've used her on APOC 2. I need to actually film it, but I've used her for 120k. She works. She's clunkier than Elowen or Dasami without a doubt. And her heals are a little less than you'd like, but the support stuff is really crazy. I mean, this damage reduction for both things, these goes up to 30% each. Basically, she's like Faircy when those butterflies are on. It's not permanent, so it's not the same, but I think we're both pretty high on her. She, as a support, she's pretty tremendous, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, she's good. She's good. You know, she's one of the newer healers to the game. You know, she's a better Dasami kind of a thing, you know? Like, she does.
That's a crazy take.
And she could heal.
I think, okay, they're different. They
are different.
I'll just tell you, the problem is, so when her butterflies are there, they do like this kind of like heal over time thing, and just the multiplier is not enough, right? That's how I really feel. Where does it tell us? Is it, we click on the butterfly waltz? Yeah, every 2 seconds restores HP based on the carrier's max HP and the caster's attack. If it was just like 1.5x, or really if it was like 2x, then she'd be a really good healer. She also can be doing AoE healing during her ult. Maybe that would be too strong. I don't think so. I don't think we, you know. But certainly she does not live up to Elowen 2.0. But because of that, people think she's bad now. That is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's decent. She's just not a great healer. You know.
Yeah.
She can't keep anybody alive in Guild Boss 1. You know, that's kind of tells you how much she can.
Yeah. Heal. Or it's just not consistent.
They eventually start dying, kind of a thing, off your team.
I'll tell you, especially if you don't have her A1, because this at least gives her like an instant heal when the butterfly lands. Without that, she really feels like, dang, there's something missing from her heals. But she's a really cool hero. So, R-Type, who do you have at number 6? I wonder if we're even again.
Maybe not. It's actually Carnelian.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you unsubscribe from R-Type, I'll give you $100. No, that's insane. Okay, what?
I mean, he's goated in GVG, and he's goated in APOC, and that's pretty much it. It's the only places you'll ever use him, or her.
Yeah,
you know, she had absolutely no heals whatsoever. None.
Well, that's actually, I mean, she is a little bit. Where is it on the passive?
But it does like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't disagree more. You can use Carnelian with really good effect in Gear Aid 1. It's off meta, but you can do it. She does actually a nice little chunk of damage. And you can start getting interesting chaotic things to work. The 2 pieces of content you described are her 2 best places, and those are like the 2 most important pieces of endgame content, I would say, GVG and Guild Boss 2. You can definitely use her in Arena. It depends on certain stuff, but if you've got yourself a Valderon or a Gon and you want to do interesting chaotic things, I think Chaos is a tough faction to make work, especially if you don't have all the special stuff, and it will never work for you without Cornelian. She's the enabler of like the second or third or fourth best faction in the game for so many cool stuff. I mean, people talked about in the video I did with Dr. D's yesterday, ranking the worst legendaries in the game, why I didn't mention Dirtsa. It's because if you run Dirtsa with Cornelian, he's a pretty cool hero. That doesn't mean he's not super niche and weird, but the fact that she's just needed to make so much cook in a very strong special faction, and the fact that she's completely broken, like she's not just good at GVG and Guild Boss 2, she's like goated. She's on all the top teams.
No, that's for sure. She is goated for those things.
Yeah, not saying you weren't saying that, but I don't know if I should reveal where I have her. Let's just say, stay tuned to the end. I've got her very high, very high. We did not line up on this one. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Here it is. I got Aelin. I love Aelin. I don't know. I just talked about her. Actually, it just came out today. So I did another collab with Dr. D's where we did our most underrated heroes, and I had her as my third most underrated hero. I'm assuming you're pretty high on Aelin as well. Just looking at this list, you've got her top 4 at least.
4.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
She's at 4.
I think that's correct. She's tremendous in my opinion. I was a little low on her when she first came out. I'll go really fast. If you guys want to see me dive a little deeper, you can check out that video with Dr. D's. Basically 6 costs, cheapest legendary hero in the entire game. It's crazy. She's got this over, excuse me, it's right here. This over here with the, nope, I was right. It's over here. Wait, where is it? I lost it. No, it's here. Okay, because it's not skilled up. Freaking gallery not showing max skill ups drives me nuts. At the very least, when you go to max level, they should also show you max skill ups. But basically, she's got a very, very huge, unique range that makes her special, constant AoE heals, and then anyone in this range, if you have this skilled up, as you reach the full stacks of Divine Moonlight pretty dang fast, 15% reduced damage, all damage. Compare that to Sadie, who does the same thing, but in her tiny baby Sadie range, that's really hard to make work for a lot of content. This is not hard to make work because the range is just sick. And the final thing I'll say, and then I'll hand it off to you, everything she's doing is AoE healing in this crazy, huge range. There's very little AoE healing in Watcher of Realms. Very little heroes that are like constantly only doing AoE healing. Let me prove that point to everyone. If we go to the healers down here, like Elowen, she has an AoE during her ult, which is like, it's fine, but it's amazing. It's Elowen, but you know what I'm saying? It's only during the ult, then it's multi-target. Leia, similar story, multi-target, and then you start getting the AoE during the ult. And actually the heals aren't that good for Leia, especially if you don't have her exclusive gear. Just going through this, no one else here with the AoE. Pharisee has AoE just for the ult. That's kind of it. You can see, technically Sadie does, but her heals are a complete joke compared to Aelin. In a lot of ways, I just think Aelin's the better version of Sadie. Not exactly apples to apples, but what do you think?
Her heals are insane.
Yeah.
Her ultimate, like, I did a takeover for somebody that was like at 80,000, like, you know, mech fragments in APOC 2, and I took him to like 270 with Aelin.
That's crazy.
Without Cornelian. Without Cornelian.
Without Pharisee too, or?
He had Pharisee, he had Pharisee and Elowen, no Cornelian. I use Aelin instead.
Okay.
And her heals to keep everybody alive, even during those poison phases, you know, that second one where they do a little laser beam thing.
Yeah.
Like, no problem. You just pop her ultimate and everybody stays alive. No problem.
Yeah, her heals are really significant. And like we said, it's like a pure AoE. It actually will heal even if it's every tile filled in the range, she'll heal all. Oh, they did the stupid thing again. She'll heal all of them. Like, oh my God, you get it. This range, she's so good.
And it's so strong. It's so strong under her ultimate. It's crazy how fast she can heal people.
Yeah, like someone like Sadie is really penalized. They're like, oh, she's AoE, so she gets bad multipliers. Whereas Aelin, she's not that far off from like single target healers with her healing. She's also like the content she's good at, like Guild Boss 2. She's amazing. Healer Codex, she's the best in the game. Like if you want to be a top team, you need Aelin and Elowen, basically. She's a really, really, really cool lady, and she's 6 costs. It's crazy. Yeah. So that's huge for progression, right?
Cheap.
Okay, my number 5. We're getting our top 5 now of our healers. Let me reveal. This is where I had Artemis. So I'm assuming you must have Artemis at number 3.
I do have Artemis at number 3.
So we're just kind of off shifted by like 2 right now. It looks like because you were very incorrect about Cornelian and Dasami. That's basically what this came down to.
Well, it's like once you get past Gwendolyn and Sadie, it's kind of hard just to they're all kind of like.
They all have their things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like hard to rank them all, kind of.
Yeah, I agree. I basically plugged this in, and then I was like nitpicking how to get them in the right order. You can lead with Artemis because you have him higher than me, but I mean, but by this point, so again, I'll say these were my clear 2, then this became clear, then this became clear, and now this was another. Artemis is a new level yet again. Yeah. Why do we love him?
I mean, he's a decent healer, you know, and then his anti-heals are insane, and his damage that he can do is insane.
Yeah.
You know? Or a healer, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of content you're really going to use him in other than like, you know, Gear Dungeon 1
and Gear Aid 1
and some other place and Gear Aid 1, but I think he's going to open up, you know, more in the future, kind of a thing.
Totally.
For sure.
I feel like the deeper you get into the game, this is part of the reason, I mean, among a million reasons, because I'm king of the Bubba stands, but why I like Beelzebub so much is like you reach a point where you need heroes that do a lot of different things. And Artemis, I actually disagree with you. You said he does pretty good heals. If you're doing him in a certain comp where like you need him healing and you build him fast enough, like people can go watch. I did like a full beating all of Nightmare Voidrift with highlighting Artemis on every stage. The heals can be pretty huge, especially during his ult, because when he does these ults, he's going to lock onto the target. He does the damage, right? He does the anti-heal, but where does it actually say it? Yeah, during the ultimate, he heals up to 3 allies, so a strong multi-target, but it's coded like a single target. 100% of his multiplier goes up to 150. He's got pretty high base attack. You can cook with this guy. So really big heals, like you said. It's between him and Demi for best anti-heal in the game. But given his range, I think almost everyone would pick him over Demi. Like, you know, all else equal. Obviously, Demi has the perks of doing other stuff. But just for the anti-heal, I think he's probably the best. And the damage is legit. Especially if you get him A1. You already have 50% of crit rate covered. You get 3% from collection. If you can just find 47% crit, which you can get off of like 2 pieces of gear, like when you're later on, you can build this guy with so much attack and crit damage. He's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, so your new challenge, the 3 to play, right?
Yeah.
I was talking with Hawkus earlier today, and it's like, I think Artemis is one of those heroes that I was like, he would probably be on my team for that 3 to play.
Oh yeah,
going through what content we have to clear and stuff like that, like Artemis, Comet, and like somebody else. I can't remember who the third person was. I said, but it's like ignore Silas, ignore Hex. Like
for sure,
there's certain content that you just can't clear without an anti-healer, you know, or you know it'd be really hard to do it with all epics and only 3 kind of thing.
Totally.
And I think Artemis would basically help you in all that.
Yeah. Another thing to mention is blood craving. That can really juice up his heals. And then if we go to the A3, he increases the effect of that. And then every time he hits a target with blood craving and he puts this on constantly, he can restore rage. So if you can get him A3, he cycles like crazy. And like you said, then all of a sudden he's doing all the damage. I agree with you and Hawkus. I think he's like a higher end progression hero in the game. He's the kind of hero, if I got him week 1 in the 3 to play challenge, I would just pick him right off the bat. Yeah. Awesome hero. And yeah, it's just something's got to be said about he's going to grow well if we need more anti-healing and more of these like wearing many hats kind of heroes. And already the 2 places where you need it, he is the best in the game. For what he does, he's the best for Gear Aid 1 and the best for Gear Aid 4, Gear Dungeon 1 in the whole game. So that's pretty special. Should we do my number 4? Home stretch? Yep. My number 4, I got Pharisee here. Obviously, you have Pharisee here. This was tough for me because I love Pharisee. Fun fact, you know, we all take L's. I talk very publicly with my million opinions every single day. Uridin didn't get that one super right. Falsia didn't get that one super right. Who else came out around the same time? Pharisee. I was dragged across the coals for being as high on Pharisee. People called me a shill, this, that, and the other. I said that AoE damage reduction is going to age very well, and we'll reach a point where the inspiration is just a great bonus on an awesome healer, and he's got huge heals. How right was I back in November 2023?
Yeah. He's awesome. Pharisee is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he's goated for APOC too. And for any other content kind of that you could use him in kind of thing. His heals are good. His burst heal and his ultimate is awesome. And then his inspiration is, you know, is great.
Yeah. Yeah, his inspiration, it does, like, this is something I think people miss. It's like, yeah, like, do you want as much as of everything as possible? Sure, but at some point, it's like you just need, to an extent, like you just need to clear those attack thresholds, and he'll help you get there. You know, not everyone has to be Dolores. You know, will he help you in Guild Boss 1 the way Dolores will? No. But will he help you in so much other late game progression content? Absolutely. Combine that with the Vortex range, combine that with Sand Aegis, which is the best skill in the game for Guild Boss 2. It's like that and everything else Elwyn does. This comes out to 25% all AoE damage incoming for everyone in that big range. He's got big ass heals. Super fun hero. Super fun hero. And he's the kind of hero also when you say he's going to age really well.
Yeah. He's great.
Really, really cool. All right, so you know who do you think I have 1, 2, 3, and 2? You can kind of put it together. It's the 2 that you hate for some reason.
I'm gonna say your Carnelian's number 2.
Yeah. Again, I don't disagree with. I do disagree with your Dasami rating, but I can't really nitpick where you put them because it's really about how you view things and how you value and the big picture stuff. But to me, I'll just tell you, Dasami, I just think he's so unique. His inspiration's much better than Pharisee. His inspiration for longer battles can come closer to like those Constance, Dolores, Beelzebub levels. Very strong. And you combine that with the fact that I think he's even than A3 Elwyn, especially if you had an A1 Dasami, just definitively the best cleanser in the game. I don't see cleansing becoming less of a thing. I think it's going to become more of a thing. So I'm just very high on him, and I think he enables a lot of cool stuff with the faction. I just think he's designed really well. He fits in his faction really well. I'm not saying this is you, but I think some people are lower on him because he used to be just completely horrible. But his buff was one of the best buffs ever that came to this game. It really kind of changed him. And then I'll just tell you, Carnelian, we already talked about it, but she's like the GOAT for the 2 most important pieces of endgame content. And you can make her work in a ton of places. If you got her early on, she could work in all different kinds of places. So, yeah, I mean, let us know, right? What do you think? They got to just let us know, Team R-Type or Team Fastidious?
Yeah, I mean, as we said, you know, like it's 10 and 11 are up there kind of a thing. And then everybody else kind of just fits in kind of where you think they fit into the game kind of thing. And then there's Elwyn. Yeah. You know, like
I'll say
there's
like,
no real like 2 through 9 is kind of like they could be, all those characters could be anywhere in that list kind of a thing. Yeah, they all have their you know, their benefits and everything throughout the game kind of a thing. So, you know, it's crazy. But I will say, like, I beat almost the entire game with Hollow and Vortex.
Yeah.
So
that's a good place to end. I was just gonna say I highlighted these guys because if anyone disagrees with these 2 being bottom 2 and Ellen being 1, please get after us in the comments. I would like to hear the explanation for that. I think that's pretty clear. But like you talked about, there's a million ways to, you know, you had Dasami 9, I had him 3, and you know, I had Carnelian 2, you had her 6, you know, little switches like this. I think we could all discuss all of that and friendly, but I'd be very curious about this. But yeah, I think you touched on something really good. Even Nasandai, that's a phenomenal healer, right? There's a lot of good healers in the epics. It's kind of the problem you have when I did my video with Slate, which people should go check out with the defenders. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of really good defenders, but also like so many of the epics can carry you the whole flipping way. So it's interesting how they went about it. It's really, if it's like, hey, if it's not DPS, use an epic. That's how they designed the game. But like, if it's DPS, spend all your money.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Any final thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me here.
My absolute pleasure. And thank you for being here. Quick reminder, guys, you go here, you subscribe. In 48 hours after this video goes live, we're going to do that big giveaway. 5,000 W Gold, 50 USD worth, courtesy of Mr. R-Type. Let's get him towards 1,000 subscribers. I think it'd be freaking fantastic. You're really one of the best creators we've got in the game right now. So thank you so much for joining me and for all the help you give me in the channel behind the scenes. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Share with your mother. We got 1 left. I got Jake Smash. I'm recording that next week. Mages. Look forward to it. Thank you and goodbye.
Fastidious.